Good evening and welcome to this edition of the Evening News for today, Wednesday, August 9, 2023. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. In the headlines this evening, government seeking $5 billion in supplementary funding for gas-to-energy project. Motorcyclist killed in collision on NABACLIS public road. 4 injured in Sophia shooting incident. Harsh penalties for offenders as domestic violence law being modernized, says AG. Compensation for MAHDIA tragedy families included in supplementary funds. And Indigenous youths are making meaningful changes in their communities, says Minister SUKHAI. Now for the news in detail. The People's Progressive Party civic government came before the National Assembly today to request an additional $5 billion in supplementary funding for the model gas-to-energy project, which will go towards the necessary infrastructure to support the initiative. Gerald Bryan has our lead story tonight.
During the 67th sitting of Parliament on Wednesday, Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh provided details on the $5 billion being requested for the gas-to-power project. Specifically, it will be used for upgrading the distribution network necessary to integrate energy from the project.
This line item finances a number of interventions associated with the gas-to-energy or gas-to-power project, including the EPC contract. This is the contract for engineering and procurement and construction of the power plant itself, project management and supervision expenses, components in relation to upgrading the transmission and distribution network in order to adequately and efficiently offtake the power that will be generated by this project, and associated other interventions.
The Finance Minister pointed out that the contracts for this project have already been awarded. These include the US $159 million engineering, procurement and construction contract awarded to Kalpataru Projects International Limited last month.
And so what this amount represents, sir, is given the updated projections of how each of these contracts will advance. So the EPC contract, the construction of the power plant for which an international company has been contracted, and that they've already started preliminary work. The supervision of that EPC contract, again an international company doing that. The T&D work, that's the bulk of that has gone to an international company. But there's also a domestic component being done, a much smaller domestic component in relation to the supply of transformers being done by a domestic company. What this amount represents, sir, is what we anticipate will be the additional resources needed given the pace at which these various components are progressing and payments that we anticipate will fall due. This represents now the latest estimate of what we will require for the totality of the project.
The funding, according to the Finance Minister, is being sourced out of the Consolidated Fund. The Minister also confirmed that land acquisition for the purpose of the project on West Demerara is an ongoing exercise. However, this is not currently being funded from the $5 billion supplementary provision. Under the gas-to-energy project, an integrated natural gas liquid plant and 300 megawatt combined cycle gas turbine power plant will be built at Wales West Bank Demerara. The project will use natural gas that will be piped from offshore oil operations. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
The bulk of the money that will go towards providing support for the families of the victims of the MAHDIA tragedy were on Wednesday approved in the National Assembly as part of the supplementary estimates. Here is Gerald Bryan again with the details.
The PPP government had committed to provide financial support to the families of the MAHDIA victims who died in the tragic fire in May. Accordingly, all the affected families have signed agreements with the government to receive this support, a total of 31 agreements. On Wednesday, a supplementary paper for $6 to $1 billion was examined in the National Assembly, including $350 million being requested by the Ministry of Finance. Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh confirmed that a portion of this money will indeed go to the families of the victims.
In connection with the amount sought, Let me say, sir, that under this particular line item, in this instance, this additional amount that is being sought, is included a provision to meet the cost of the financial assistance that is being provided to the families of the girls who so tragically lost their lives in MAHDIA, and to those who were injured in that tragic incident.
In the early hours of May the 22nd, a fire allegedly set by a 15-year-old student resulted in the deaths of 19 female students from the MAHDIA school dorm and a 5-year-old boy. Even as court proceedings continue against the alleged perpetrator, the government had offered to compensate the families affected. That compensation would have ranged between $3 million and $5 million per household. Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
A motorcyclist identified as Akim Gavaya, called Wild Pine of Victoria, East Coast Demerara, was killed on Tuesday evening following a collision with a motorcar on the NABACLIS public road, East Coast Demerara. This newscast understands that a motorcar was heading out of a street in NABACLIS and was about to turn east onto the public road. However, the driver noticed the motorcyclist speeding from that direction and stopped. An eyewitness related that Gavaya probably did not see the car that was already halfway onto the public road and rode head-on into the vehicle. The impact of the collision caused the motorcyclist to be thrown to the ground, resulting in severe injuries. He was swiftly transported to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he was admitted as a patient and placed on life support. However, the young man succumbed to his injuries earlier today. Highlighting the various deficiencies with the current Domestic Violence Act, Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nandlall has disclosed that the entire legislation will be repealed and replaced with modern laws that will feature harsh penalties for domestic violence perpetrators. More in this report.
During his weekly program, Issues in the News, Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nandlall explained that the government will not be amending but completely overhauled the Domestic Violence Act in a modern family violence bill, which will correct all the deficiencies in the current act.
This new bill that we are working on, we took a lot of provisions also from the United States of America. So it's a different type of legislation, very penal, very harsh, because the problem that it is intended to address is one that is oppressive, one that is serious, and one that has resulted in a tremendous amount of violence, death, sufferings, breaking up of families, and a whole host of pain and anguish. And you have to get a law that is strong enough to respond to that type of
According to the Attorney General, the 1996 Domestic Violence Act has become outmoded and its weaknesses are glaring.
Domestic violence, by no measure, has reduced in Guyana. The act, therefore, has been rendered ineffective. We now have to make a law of that type effective. The Domestic Violence Act was essentially a legislation in civil law. The new bill will have both civil and criminal remedies.
AG Nandlall pointed out that under the current Domestic Violence Act, persons could have only been jailed for violating civil orders and not for any criminal conduct.
So you had order to put the man out of the house or the woman out of the house, an order to restrain a particular activity from taking place, but no sanction, no offenses of a criminal type. One had to go back under the ordinary criminal law to charge for assault, wounding, etc. Now, it will be a different type of legislation. Persons will go to jail for domestic violence offenses. Persons will be kept in custody rather than be restrained from going into a house or the matrimonial home. They'll be locked up. They'll have orders of that type. to keep the abuser away from the victim.
Lawanda McAllister for the Evening News.
The Guyana Police Force is investigating a shooting incident on Tuesday night at B-Field, Sophia, Greater Georgetown, that has left 4 persons nursing gunshot wounds. According to the police, the incident occurred at around 21 hours 30 at the B-Field Access Road, Sophia. Injured are Abdul Joshua Kamal, a 32-year-old welder of A-Field, Sophia, who received 1 gunshot wound to his left shoulder. Shalon Collins, a 23-year-old shopkeeper of B-Field, Sophia, who received 1 gunshot wound to the left side face. O'Malley Dick, a 27-year-old laborer of a lodge housing scheme who received 3 gunshot wounds, 2 to the abdomen and 1 to his left thigh, and Quincy Hoyt, a 33-year-old laborer of B-Field, Sophia, who received 1 gunshot wound to his lower back. According to the police, the victims were all part of a crowd gathered around 2 men fighting on the access road. Police are looking for the suspect who reportedly walked up to the crowd and fired randomly, causing everyone to scatter and run for cover. The 4 injured persons were picked up and taken to the GPHC, where doctors saw and examined them. With the exception of Joshua Kamal, who was treated and sent away, the other victims were all admitted to the hospital. Meanwhile, 8 9mm spent shells were found at the scene. Investigators are currently on the hunt for the suspect. They said the suspect was at the time wearing a gray hoodie, red and black pants, about 6 feet in height and dark in complexion, and armed with a handgun. Coming up on the other side of the break, Indigenous youths are making meaningful changes in their communities, says Minister SUKHAI. Please stay tuned.
Optic offers great patient care that is tailored for my entire family.
At Optic, a wide selection of affordable optical frames and optical services are available to fit your budget.
At Optic, my family is provided with comprehensive eye examination and access to the ophthalmology services, all under one roof.
Optic takes pride in delivering exceptional customer service and a unique experience to you, our customers.
Optic Vision Care is a company that is Guyanese born and grown that will help you take care of your precious eyes.
Guyana, the International Building Expo is back. The advances made in the housing, construction, and infrastructure sector is everyone's business. Come down to the Guyana National Stadium from Thursday, August 24th through Sunday, August 27th and get a glimpse of the latest in building techniques. Interact with service providers in the sector and financial institutions. Make it a family affair and bring the kids too. Enjoy free entry during our grand opening night on August 24th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Admission fee applies after 8 p.m. Gates open at 11 a.m. daily from August 25th to 27th. Admission easy. Adults $500 and kids under 12 free.
I love this place. Oh no, welcome to Building Expo.
Traveling soon? Then come into John Lewis Styles on Waterloo Street and let's help you choose the right set of luggage. You can choose to buy 3-piece luggage sets, or separate pieces, but the sets are always a better deal. Either available in soft poly, or ABS hard side material, with 4-wheeled spinners, and in many colors too. Also available are carry-on luggage, computer bags, duffel bags, backpacks, travel pillows, blankets and lots more to make your trip enjoyable. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Guyana, the International Building Expo is back. The advances made in the housing, construction, and infrastructure sector is everyone's business. Come down to the Guyana National Stadium from Thursday, August 24th through Sunday, August 27th and get a glimpse of the latest in building techniques. Interact with service providers in the sector and financial institutions. Make it a family affair and bring the kids too. Enjoy free entry during our grand opening night on August 24th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Admission fee applies after 8 p.m. Gates open at 11 a.m. daily from August 25th to 27th. Admission easy. Adults $500 and kids under 12 free.
I love this place. You are in it. Oh no, welcome to building next.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. As International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples is celebrated today, Amerindian Affairs Minister Pauline Sukhai underscored the important role Indigenous youths in the country have been playing to advocate for development within their villages and communities. More in this Pooja Rambaran report.
This year, the United Nations Day of Recognition of Indigenous People is themed Indigenous Youth as Agents of Change for Self-Determination in the Americas, Intergenerational Connections. In a statement on Wednesday, Amerindian Affairs Minister Pauline Sukhai highlighted the increase of Indigenous youths holding decision-making positions, noting the government's continuous efforts to further support them. Implemented by the Amerindian Affairs Ministry, the Youth Entrepreneurship and Apprenticeship Program supports over 2,600 community service officers, CSOs, throughout the country. This program allows the youths to boost their village's agriculture production and community transportation needs by training them in small engineer repairs, tractor driving and maintenance, garment construction, and tourism and hospitality. Another ministry-led initiative, the Hinterland Scholarship Program, is also ensuring all hinterland students have access to education through online and national scholarships. Meanwhile, Minister Sukhai added that the government remains committed to ensuring land tenure for Amerindians, with 106 titled villages in Guyana existing thus far. An important step towards promoting self-determination, the land titling project is mandated to furthering land security for Indigenous people collectively in the country. Sukhai further highlighted the importance of preserving traditional knowledge by maintaining intergenerational relationships. She said having conversations in villages and communities is essential and has to be self-driven. Pooja Rambaran for the Evening News.
Ranks in Regional Division Number 3 have discovered 3 firearms along with more than 170 rounds of ammunition at Virgin Eugen, East Bank, Essequibo. According to police reports, the ranks went to Lot 2 Archer Street, Virgin Eugen at some time between 11 hours 50 and 13 hours 30 on Tuesday, where they carried out a search exercise at the home of 35-year-old laborer Delon Osborne, called Gizmo. The 22-year-old mother of his child, Joyanne Sobers, was also at home at the time. During the search, the officers found one suspected .32 firearm and 9 live rounds of ammunition under a mattress in one of the bedrooms, as well as a suspected improvised shotgun and another .32 firearm with 14 live rounds. A bag containing 150 live suspected 9mm rounds of ammunition was also found in the kitchen area. After admitting to the police that they do not have any firearm license, the couple was arrested and taken to the Leonora police station along with the weapons found. Both Osborne and Sobers were placed into custody pending further investigation and charges. Meanwhile, 2 motorcycles believed to be used in armed robberies in the region were also recovered at the house. As U.S.-based paint company Sherwin-Williams aims to expand its reach within Guyana, an event on Tuesday facilitated by its Guyanese authorized distributor, Atlantic Marine Supplies, Inc., offered local stakeholders within the construction industry the chance to learn more about that company's products. Pooja Rambaran has the details.
Sherwin-Williams has been in existence for some 150 years, and over the recent decades has broadened its scope to reach international markets, making its way to Guyana through AMSI in 2019.
It's only natural that at some point that we would have gotten to Guyana. It just so happens that Guyana is at a stage now where the economy is, expanding, taking off because of the oil boom and so on.
Omar Mohammed, Sherwin-Williams Architectural Account Executive, explained that Tuesday's Lunch and Learn event was a chance for engineers, architects, and other persons working within the construction industry to learn about the company's generic coating systems, including architectural, light industrial, and high-performance flooring.
It's easy to say it's paint because, that's what everybody knows, but coating systems vary according to the application and the intent. So architectural paint could be for residences, it could be for commercial properties. And then you move into the light industrial, that could go to hospitals, hotels, manufacturing facilities. And then you go into heavy industrial, like protective and marine. And that's where we see that it's a very good relationship that we're forging with Atlantic Marine to get our product to the Guyanese public.
Lancelot Gordon, AMSI's Business Development and Customer Relations Manager, explained that though Sherwin-Williams products were introduced to Guyana in 2019, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, an event as such was able to be held only now. Over the years, however, Gordon noted that the products have received positive responses from Guyanese customers. He added that these products are available across sectors, with efforts being made recently within the marine industry.
We are now introducing our marine and protective coatings. So like the companies that operate the rigs, the company that operate the support vessels, and even those equipment that go subsea. We are working with them, providing them with protective coatings.
AMSI will also be facilitating a hands-on expo on Wednesday to demonstrate the application of the Sherwin-Williams coatings. Pooja Rambrand for the Evening News.
Tasia Dickinson joins us now to report that the American University of Peace Studies has officially launched its Center of Research and Strategic Thinking, geared towards promoting innovative and scientific research at the social, economic, political, environmental, and technological levels. Here is more.
This center will also conduct poll sampling surveys as it relates to contemporary issues in Guyana, as well as research on current issues so that the relevant stakeholders can use the information from the research to guide policy decisions, thus enhancing the welfare of the Guyanese society. During a press conference held by the university earlier on Wednesday, the CEO of the American University of Peace Studies, Dr. Ethan Simon, shared that research is imperative for the development and transformation of our country.
We should have research centers in every corner of this country conducting research on all different topics. That's right. And if we can have that, we will make a tremendous breakthrough, because the pace of research will bring you critical information, will bring you vital knowledge so that you can make the right decision. Because if you don't have the knowledge, how can you make decisions? You're not going to get it on social media. They're not going to give it to you because they don't have it. The kind of research that we're talking about here is innovative scientific research. And this type of research is going to transform Guyana.
Additionally, Director of Curriculum and Academic Affairs at the university, Dr. Nandini Ramsaran, explained that these surveys will be conducted periodically and information gathered will be disseminated to the general public and relevant authorities in both the government and private sector who can address the needs of citizens.
We have a number of issues. For example, persons are complaining a lot about healthcare issues in Guyana. So what our research center will basically do is to see what is it that is causing the downfall in the healthcare system, present that to the appropriate persons, and then let them correct that. Look at flooding. Why are there certain flooding in certain areas? Look at that, get the response from the persons to the poll sampling, get the research done, and when the research is done, present those findings that we would have analyzed to the relevant persons in the government or even the private sector who will take it on board and move forward with it. When the findings are presented, then at least the public is aware that we will have presented the findings. What is it now that as a government body we are going to do about that? So who is going to drop the baton then? So it's our responsibility to conduct research, present the findings and allow them to take it and make a change.
The research will be conducted by a body of professionals as well as students of the university. This initiative is sponsored by stakeholders of the AUOPS and other independent bodies. The American University of Peace Studies has been facilitating Guyanese and international students in qualifying and upgrading their knowledge and skills to be functional in this dynamic society for the past 22 years. It is a research-based institution that focuses on using empirical data to facilitate the needs of the populace. Tassia Dickinson, The Evening News.
Many job seekers, even though qualified, fail at the job interview. This is according to an official of the Ministry of Labor who noted that efforts are being made to prepare the unemployed to be job ready. Currently, the ministry is holding these sessions in the way of seminars for potential job seekers, with the most recent being held today in Region 5. Andrew Carmichael joins us with the details.
The Central Recruitment and Manpower Agency within the Ministry of Labor has been providing training to unemployed persons who are seeking employment. According to Chief Recruitment and Manpower Officer Yolanda Grant, the agency seeks to help job seekers understand what is required when seeking a job. During one of those sessions held on Wednesday in Region 5, Grant explained that the agency provides employment services to both agencies offering jobs as well as job seekers, and on many occasions the feedback is that the job seeker was unsuccessful. Hence, the training to prepare persons for the world of work in order to ensure they are job ready.
Many times, persons would possess the requirements for the job. Could be academic qualifications and or skills, but they fail at a starting point, and that is the interview process. One of the questions that would ask in interviews, tell me about yourself. One might say, oh, I'm 24 years old, I have 2 children. No. Remember, an employer is more interested in what you have to offer to drive this company to success, right? So one of the ways that persons can answer that question is that, look, I'm reliable, I'm resourceful, I'm a team player. Those are some of the things, that you can respond to a question like that.
Since coming into being last year, some 6,217 persons have applied for jobs through the Ministry of Labor. According to Grant, the Central Recruitment and Manpower Agency of the Ministry of Labor has offices on the coastal regions and Region 10. However, as from March last year, the job board was established where persons can access employment online, allowing persons to upload their resume and engage employers.
I want to encourage job seekers and employers to utilize our online platform. That is our job board, and the site is jobs.gov.gy.
For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
There is no scheduled closure at the Demerara Harbour Bridge for Thursday, August 10th, 2023. However, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 12 hours 5 on Thursday, August 10th, 2023 for a period of 1.5 hours.
Gold, silver, bronze for athletics trio at Commonwealth Youth Games. This and more coming up in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp.
Access to quality education for Guyanese countrywide is becoming a reality with the support of monies from the country's oil and gas sector. Some $94.4 billion was allocated this year to support the further development of the education sector. This covers access to textbooks, transportation to school, and hot meals for thousands of students. 30% of the funds used to propel development such as this in Guyana this year is being provided from the country's oil revenues.
SuperBet, your best bet. Do you wish to pass some time and win while doing so? Play our SuperBet online games. Choose from over 200 online games that are easy to play. Visit www.superbet.gy to choose your game. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.